Epic 10 List.
Here are 10 movie scenes that were improvised.
Number 10, Bill Paxton in Aliens. In this sequel to his earlier film Alien, Cameron redefined the genre of science fiction films with real futuristic space marines that are now aped into video games today. In one of the scenes required to bring down the xenomorphs, Bill Paxton came out with a memorable improvised dialogue as Private Hudson by using a lingo common in the video games by saying, "Game over, man." Cameron retained it, and the quote was well loved by the audience.
Number 9, Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver. Scorsese had a screenwriter explain to De Niro that he had to talk to himself while looking in the mirror. In absence of specific dialogue, De Niro improvises by saying, "You talking to me?" This became the landmark dialogue of the film, and to this day there are many fans, including myself, who cannot help but saying, "You talking to me?" while looking in a mirror.
Number 8, Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. Ledger turned the character of Joker into a memorable one for the ages by combining dark humor and total anarchy in his scenes. An improvised scene that was appreciated was when he is taken into police custody. He is present when Jim Gordon is promoted to the post of police commissioner, and as officers applaud in a room, Ledger's expressionless clapping from the cell grabs everyone's attention. This was a moment that was chillingly captured as Ledger improvises.
Number 7, Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner. When ex-Blade Runner Deckard is attempting to retire replicant Roy Batty, the latter saves him from a building edge and dies shortly after. But not before the famous monologue when he says, "All these moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain." The latter part of the phrase was improvised by Hauer and retained by Ridley Scott.
Number 6, Roy Schneider in Jaws. When the shark shows its amazing size to the police chief on the fishing trawler, Brody is shaken out of his wits. He impulsively tells Robert Shaw, "You are gonna need a bigger boat." This was totally improvised by him, and Spielberg retained it. This dialogue went on to become one of the most famous lines spoken in cinematic history.
Number 5, Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca. There are several memorable lines in this classic film, but Humphrey Bogart's immortal, "Here's looking at you, kid," was not part of the intended script. He says this more than once while teaching poker to Ingrid Bergman.
Number 4, Jack Nicholson in The Shining. This film by Kubrick became a classic on account of the crazy descent of Nicholson's character into madness. He turns on his family and hotel, chasing his son and wife into the bathroom. He chops with a fire axe through the door before sarcastically bringing in the parody line from Johnny Carson's Tonight Show by saying, "Here's Johnny." This line became iconic for this film, and not many people know that it was Nicholson who improvised it for Kubrick.
Number 3, Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones is in search of a holy relic, and he is outmatched in a bizarre corner in Egypt. A swordsman shows the skills with his sword before attacking Jones, and instead of trying to fight with him, Jones lazily pulls out his gun and shoots the swordsman. The original script had called for a tiresome fighting sequence between the two. As Ford was suffering with food poisoning, he asked Spielberg if he could just shoot him down with a single shot. The director agreed, and one of the funniest iconic moments of this film happened.
Number 2, Marlon Brando in The Godfather. Coppola wanted to show that Vito Corleone was not just a cold-hearted Italian mafioso family head, but also one with a heart. In a scene when he has to sentence a man to be beaten up as punishment for abusing another man's daughter, Brando improvised by gently stroking a cat in his lap. This scene was not part of the original script. The scene became so popular that it made the posters of this classic.
Number 1, Anthony Hopkins in The Silence of the Lambs. Hopkins portrayed a cinematic psychopath and redefined the art of acting after he played Dr. Hannibal Lecter. He also created an immortal anecdote involving a dinner of, "I ate his liver with some fava beans and nice Chianti." He delivers this dialogue with an unsettling sound of sucking to startle Jodie Foster. It is not in the original script, but Dem decided to keep it in the film.
These are some pretty incredible improvised scenes in famous movies. If there's one that we missed on this list, be sure to let us know in the comments below.
Thanks so much for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to Epic 10 List. We'll see you next time.